Hello, we're
The Tone Deaf.
yeah. Hello, we're BAM. We're the CDRs. He's Bryn, I'm Matt, and today's album is Fuck Love.
Fuck Love by Kid Laroi.
Kid Laroi, or Laroi, as I was trying to pronounce.
As you trying to pronounce, I saw it on Twitter. He's like, it's Laroi, and he just went through all these people that keep going different.
I mean,
names.
one of the. I mean, we're skipping ahead to the pros section, but one of the pros of the album is he actually pronounces his name in the album. Yeah. So, I mean, that certainly gives me peace of mind knowing that I'm not
messing up this probably real shit way of spelling a name.
Anyway, so what was the album to you? What do you...
Okay, let's go. He's an Aussie rapper, supposedly.
Sydney-based, I believe.
Sydney-based, yeah. He's half Aboriginal, and his dad is French, and he looks full French too. When I looked at the photo of him, I was like, he looks full French. Yeah. And then I went further back in time and had a look at some older photos, and he looks like Lloyd Christmas.
Moving right along.
I'll show you a photo. It's so good.
Show me afterwards.
Carlton Kenneth Jeffrey Howard is his actual name. I'll tell you what really just picked me out to go with this was the album cover. I looked at the album cover and I was like, I was drawn to it. Yeah, I was just drawn to it. It was a bit different. Yep. It was a bit edgy. Yep. The whole like knife in the back. Yeah, and a whole lot of... And it kind of just fitted the whole thing. I was like, yeah, I might get a good story out of this.
And you're partial to a little bit of hip-hop as well, I imagine.
Oh, look, yeah, when you're raised by Wu-Tang, you got to do what you do.
Yeah, his parents are watching this. Raised by Wu-Tang, there you go.
Yeah, Mum's always disappointed. Don't worry, it's my favourite thing in the world to make her sad.
Well, I mean, then from my perspective, this album was just... You may as well have just made up a whole bunch of random things, chucked it in... and said, hey, this is the album we're listening to. It was left of center, as left as it could be.
I like that. I just blew it and you just like, this is it.
Wasn't even in my wheelhouse.
And I like just choosing. It's like, fuck, I'll just give it a go. I'll listen to it and I'll listen to it. How many times do you listen to it?
Oh, that's a good question. I listened to it fully twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What about you? How many times did you fully listen to it? 7 or 8 times. You know what? You're a stronger man than I am.
I knew this was... As soon as I started listening, I was all in regret. Let's go to pros. Let's at least give this album a good rap. First of all, I'm going to say... Look, it was quite catchy. It's going along with mainstream. It's obviously heavily influenced by Drake and that long side of things.
Yep.
I liked it how the album just stuck to one theme. It's literally based around... as the introduction is him getting broken up by his girlfriend over the phone, and it just kind of goes through that spiral. It fuels from there with the emotions and obviously the horrible things and revenge and backstabbing that comes from possibly in breakups, which you wouldn't know.
So you would say it was a cohesive album?
Yeah, it was great. There was a story to it, and I like that. I actually do like the stories when they just stick to... There's a story. It has a start and it has an ending, and it pretty much is great because the artist can just stop there and just start a new project and just start on a new subject for whatever they want instead of just continuing trying to do the same thing in and out, in and out. And it being his first debut, I think he did a great job because it's meant to be emo rap. I did not catch a lot of rap up in there, but kid's only 16. He's 17 when he made this. He's obviously very much based into that that area too.
It's funny you say that because on the song "Erase You," where "you" is spelt just the letter U, my sole comment is Laroi like 17 years old? Edit, looked it up. He is legit 17 years old.
I did not expect it because I was listening to even the missus. She listened to it. And I'm like, do you know how old this guy is? She's like mid-20s. I'm like, no. Yeah, you would think that.
See, for me, like...
He's talking about drinking Hennessy.
So in terms of the pros for me, I think I agree with you. It was cohesive.
Yeah.
And the lyrics at large times were well written for the genre style. I appreciate that, just because you drop the word Hennessy in a number of songs throughout the album doesn't necessarily make it a good album, but it worked, and some of the lyrical phrasing worked at times. I mean, it's not necessarily my thing, but I could see the story. It really did hit the normal sort of story arc. So I did appreciate that as well. And I think even though the lyrics were a bit rough at times, that kind of helps some of the music along anyway. So it was to its benefit that it was rough. Conversely, then, from a con perspective, is Laroi like 17 years old? Oh wait, he is. The problem I had a lot with the album lyrics was, I guess, it's juvenile in a sense, and I understand that he's obviously, so as way of background, he explicitly states in a number of bios that he didn't have the best upbringing, and so this is how it's brought forward in his music. If someone under 17 is having discussions about drinking Hennessy whilst sleeping with some bitch, as he would say, chances are some of the wheels have gone a little bit awry, and he would, I imagine, agree with that.
But I just imagine the story he's telling in his album is not a typical 16-year-old or 15-year-old lifestyle.
Yeah, agreed. And that I did feel a bit of disconnect, especially once I saw his age. I'm like,
how is this even... Yeah.
And because of that, I thought it had childish elements leading into it. We have some friends. It had some childish elements leading into it. I mean, in terms of like the narrative arc, it's him and his missus basically cheating on each other because he effed up and she's effed up, and at the end of the day, oh no, damn it, why'd you leave me? I'm so heartbroken, but I'm gonna be selfish and just fuck the next girl.
Yeah, and guess I'm broken and I can only And
so like for me, that was like, because it was so juvenile, certain musical signatures didn't necessarily hit in quite the way that I would have liked. Like Selfish had some interesting like female vocals towards the end that was really trying to get at that emotional conclusion that this person's character arc, he didn't improve. He sort of got more bitter as a result of the engagement.
Yeah.
But because it felt a bit juvenile to me, it never really paid off. And I guess on the con side, whilst you liked the consistent theme throughout it, I could have killed for just some musical interest.
I agree with you. Look, the lyrics didn't catch me very well. It's the fact that it was a story of going through a breakup, and some people do have breakups where they just spiral and get into self-destruction. A lot of self-destruction in the songs, and where he's like, I blame myself, and he gets really deep in that. And then he goes, I blame you for not being able to, like, you can't help me, I gotta help myself.
Yeah.
It just gets bad and bad. But that is a lot of relationships and breakups that people are probably going through, and they're going to feel that. I can understand where they might attach to this sort of music and they get into it. I just, how to explain it?
Well, I think you hit it on the head at the start. It's basically emo hip-hop.
It is emo hip-hop,
exactly,
and it is catered to this younger generation, because who doesn't like being more emotional and erratic and just out of control when you're 16 or 17 going through your first real breakup?
I know, but like, there was still some element of fun in some of those emo songs. And I think that, especially from my upbringing, that's what I think was missing. There really wasn't any fun.
No anthem songs either.
No, yeah, and I must admit, the fact that it's the same bass tone, it's the same...
Yeah, it's the same song over and over. Yeah. I saw that too.
And so, like,
the intros is like the piano and the
that's
violin
the thing.
intros and outros.
They threaten with interesting bits of music, right?
Yeah.
It threatens with interesting bits of music. I've got here, Running was one of the tracks on the album. It threatened to be a good song. That lasted about 60 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, we're back to the same deadpan bass and the claps. But
and
then,
just the same Drake sort of cymbals in the background.
Oh, exactly right. But it had... The music moved in a way that was interesting to me. Whereas instead of just like a meandering, non-interesting bass beat, it was like, it had a note and then it went down a step and it was just this really foreboding bass sound. It sounded sick. It was comfortably, for mine, just the most interesting piece of music, despite the fact it's literally 2 notes. And I think it actually did a really good job of heightening that sense of angst. It was probably my favourite song on the album. Question mark.
So if we just scratch out all the lyrics, which we can pretty much agree on, the music itself was
not to be listened to again.
Not to be listened to. not even the instrumental. You don't like the way it was put together?
There were aspects of it that were good at times, but they were too few and far between for me.
Yeah, right. I get you.
Too few and far between. So I guess now is probably a good time to give your review.
Look,
your overall review.
My overall review is like, I honestly thought it was a well thought out, put together album, just because I do like albums that have a story, they have an ending and a start, and it all just rolls instead of a lot of chop and change. Although some of my biggest albums I love is all chop and change, and they're the ones that just take you through that forever up and down spiral like a wave, whereas this one's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Hit the ground, it just crashed and burned. And would I listen to it again? No.
What would you give it out of 10, out of curiosity?
I'm not going to give it. I'm not going to rate it.
Not going to give it a rating?
I'm just going to say, if you're going through a breakup, you're in your late teens, early 20s, and you want to just feel like shit for a day, listen to this album. This will make you get through that breakup a little bit quicker, because you've been thinking, But would I want to wake up to this song? No, I wouldn't want to wake up to any of this shit. I want to see him actually do some fucking real good rap.
I want to see him do some interesting music composition.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that the better hip-hop artists or rap artists do is that there's still some element of interest musically. And I don't think that muscle was flexed.
For a first album at 17.
Look, for a 17-year-old well-written, it really didn't hit me in terms of the subject matter. It couldn't be a more uninteresting subject matter for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. As soon as I picked it, I was like, Matt's going to hate this. Because I instantly did not want to do this after the 4th song.
And when I press play again on the second time through, I'm like, oh, here we go again. The Saving Grace, and this is only because I didn't like it, not because I don't think he's a good artist. The Saving Grace, it's only 30 minutes.
That is true. It's very short. It's sweet and simple. I guess.
The little skits in between the songs were interesting. They were good. But in terms of like me, like if I was to give it a rating, I'd give it 3 out of 10. So anyone else who's a 90s pop punk kid, you're probably going to stay away. I think you hit the target market correctly before.
Yeah, for me, it's not going to be anywhere. I'm not going to give it a rating. I don't think I should, because if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It all depends on what you think and feel.
Well, I mean, for me, I love my numbers, so that's my.
Yeah, okay. You want the numbers?
I'm just saying that's what I
overall rating. I'd say 3.5. If I was to give for someone for their first album, I'm gonna give him a 6 for a debut.
There's no chump points here.
No. I'm rating people on their second albums as well. You gotta let them, because sometimes if the first one's a killer and the second one sucks, you gotta let them know.
So I gave him a point for the good lyrics. I gave him a point for maybe the first track on the album, which was actually pretty good.
Yep.
I gave him a point for the skit and the cohesiveness.
What about the favourites that obviously got stars next to?
Maybe.
Goes.
I hated
that so much.
Low, prone.
That was just that's just a repeat of every mainstream piece of shit song I fucking just can't stand.
Whereas like Erase You, Never Again. I think
the one after it actually didn't mind.
Running. Well, that was, I reckon it was either Running or Maybe were the best tracks on that.
Tell Me Why.
Tell Me Why. What have I got next to that? It's the same fucking bass tone, clip track tones, say the words properly, rhymes shit with bitch. Like, there is some level of interest that I need in my lyrics.
Did you read the lyrics?
Yeah, I had them up as I listened to it first clean, and then I had the lyrics up the second time.
I tried doing it and I got distracted. I'm like, I can't fucking keep reading this.
The funny thing is that had I not listened to it a second time with the lyrics up beside it, I would have probably given it a 1.
Yeah.
Lyrics were the saving grace. There was more to it than meets the eye on the first listen. And boy, oh boy, if it had been left to the first listen, yeah.
Well, the shit thing is, because I listened to it more, it became a lot easier to get through as it went along.
That's Stockholm Syndrome, my friend.
Yeah. I felt it in myself to give it a good crack.
Well, you know what we have to give a good crack to?
Oh, yeah.
Next week's album.
Oh, my God, I can't wait.
My choice, none of this fucking hip-hop shit.
I can't actually wait to find one that just devastates you. You're like, I listened, I got halfway through it, and I could not do it anymore.
You see, the thing is that I can turn my brain off. I mean, I like going for long runs. You turn your brain off. It's just another of life's tortures that you have to get through and survive.
Yeah, true.
It's my turn to choose an album. We sort of agreed that we'd choose... I'm guessing we sort of agreed we'd choose albums that we'd probably dislike to start.
I'm just randomly choosing shit.
Okay, fine. Well, I'm choosing an album that I think I'll dislike.
Oh, okay.
And sadly, it's the one that Tony mentioned before. We're going to listen to Folklore by Taylor Swift this week.
I can't wait to rip into this.
I'm really sorry.
I tell you what, we have listened to this and I already know what I'm going to say.
I haven't. I've only listened to one song. It's an Exile song with Bon Iver.
Oh, you haven't even got to The One yet?
The One? No, I haven't. I'm literally going in blind. All I know is what the album cover art looks like and the fact that it's T-Swizz. That's it.
Alright, cool.
Has that been CDR?
CDR. Yeah.
You're CDR. You're the CDR one.
Thank you. I do come first. My poor wife.
My sister. On that note, where's the fucking stop button?